In order that Satan will not outsmart us, for we should not be ignorant of his devices.
Hi everyone, you are welcome to the Evangel News YouTube channel. If this is the first time coming across this channel, I would like you to subscribe, like, comment, and most importantly, turn on the notification button to get notified whenever we upload a new video. So come on in, have a seat, and I would like us to discuss a very important topic today. On today's video, I'll be discussing about the gathering of the saints to be with the Elohim, what the Christian popularly known as Rapture, what the Bible actually teaches about this event, and what we should be expecting as a believer. Because of the time that we are in today, this topic has been around.
I had a rapture dream.
I had a dream that the rapture took place.
I just had a rapture dream.
I knew that this was the rapture.
I had a dream where World War III and Rapture happened, like it was a coinciding event.
I had a dream that Jesus came back.
It was the second coming of Christ.
I heard this loud trumpet sound.
And many people have had different opinions about this particular topic, so I decided to bring some clarity. The question about are we going to be raptured before the Antichrist is being revealed, or are we going to be here? Is it pre-tribulation or mid-tribulation or post-tribulation? This has been a very important and very popular discussion among the body of Messiah.
The rapture of the church is about to happen. Why am I saying it's about to happen? Because the tribulation period is casting its shadow on the earth right here and right now. Revelation chapter 13, after the rapture of the church of Jesus Christ. So the rapture of the church will occur, and I believe that could occur any day now. The rapture occurs, the Antichrist will be revealed after the rapture, and during the coming tribulation period, which we are not in yet, there will be a system in place that comes about that will be able to track and monitor every single human on the planet. And it's a system that's going to be able to control all buying and selling. And if we see this beast system that's going to be implemented during the coming tribulation period, casting its shadow on the earth right here and right now, if we see the stage getting set up for this coming beast system where they want to be able to track and monitor every single human on the planet and control all buying and selling, and we know the rapture occurs before the tribulation period begins. How close are we to the rapture? I would say a lot closer than people realize. It could occur at any moment.
Hey everybody, Greg Laurie here, answering the question, is the vaccine the mark of the beast? Ready for the answer? No. How do you know, Greg? Well, here's how I know. When people take the actual mark of the beast, which of course is 666, they will know they're taking it because you will have to pledge allegiance to the Antichrist. So there can't be a mark without an Antichrist. An Antichrist cannot be revealed until Jesus Christ returns for his church and catches us up to heaven. Listen, the technology for this mark, it's effectively here, right? We all know that. So if that's close, and the coming of Christ for his church, it's even closer. Look up, your redemption draws near.
First of all, I want to say this. The reasons why I'm making this video is first, for the love I have for Yahweh, our Elohim. Second reason is the hate I have for the devil. And the third reason is the love I have for you all. I have no desire of causing confusion and division in the body of Messiah or to claim that I know better. I'm teaching this video with all humility. A friend that says, I should have told you, is not a good friend. But that friend that says, I told you not to take the decision, I told you this is not the best idea, that's the good friend. One of the side effects of knowledge is that once a revelation is revealed to you and you refuse to convey it to people to help them to come out from the deception of the devil, and you hold it back by yourself, you will be judged by it. You will be held accountable for it. So that's why I want to get free of the guilt that I did not say it out. I'm a friend, I'm just trying to help. In as much as I don't like critics, but some callings automatically comes with critics no matter what you do. So I will be expecting a lot of pushback from this topic, but I have to say what I know that will save somebody's life. Fourth reason why I'm making this video is because of the urgency on this particular topic, because of the urgency of this event. We are living in the fulfillment of Bible prophecy, and you can watch my last video to understand more. I don't think that the world tagged us Gen Z in vain. If many of us will not be here to witness this event called Rapture, I will probably be doing something else by now, okay? Because of the urgency, that is the fourth reason why I'm making this video. And the fifth reason is because of the risk, the mindset, the deceit, the trick of the devil. That is why I'm so triggered to talk about this particular topic.
The mark of the beast. So here our mission number one is, if you believe in the rapture, more specifically the pre-tribulation rapture, which is the teaching that I subscribe to, which is the idea that Christ is going to return for his church and he is going to rapture or take away all those who have placed their faith in Christ, then that means that by the time the mark of the beast is even offered, then we aren't going to be here to accept it anyway, because we are going to be in heaven with our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. So if you believe in that, which I do, then taking a vaccination or a chip or anything is not necessarily anything we need to be worried about, because we will be raptured and long gone before any sort of mark of the beast is available. Then taking a vaccination or a chip or anything is not necessarily anything we need to be worried about, because we will be raptured and long gone before any sort of mark of the beast is available.
The goal of the devil is to deceive and to trap the Christians, and ultimate goal to destroy the whole religion. I can remember in my last video, I talked about a bagpipe letter to the Mazzini in 1871, how they orchestrated the dissolution of Christianity, how they will destroy, conquer, and exterminate Christianity as a whole. It is very possible with the plan of Blue Beam project and the first pre-tribulation rapture. Okay, let me highlight what Operation Blue Beam is so that you can connect the dots. Project Blue Beam, said Monash, from 1945 to 5th or 6th December 1996, is mostly known for his promotion of Project Blue Beam conspiracy theory, which persists a plot to facilitate a totalitarian government by destroying Abrahamic religion, replacing them with a new age belief system using futuristic NASA technology and involving fake alien invention or fake extraterrestrial encounter meant to deceive nations into uniting under a new world order with the help of advanced holographic technologies. It could be designed to mark the beginning of a new world order as a single planetary government, a single army, a single religion, a single society without cash, and with the population controlled by microchips connecting to a central computer. Globalization taken to the extreme, the world elite would not be subjected to this control system, but rather they could be the executors. To achieve its objectives, an event must be created to terrorize the population using the media manipulation strategy known as problem reaction solution. According to the research carried out by Monast, with the Blue Beam project, it could be intended to play with the human mind, making people to believe things that are not real. This macabre game could consist of 4 or less defined phases. The first could be the destruction of all archaeological knowledge. According to the theory, it could be about orchestrating earthquake and other natural disasters in an artificial way with the help of technology such as HARP and certain precise area located around the planet, which will reveal supposed archaeological evidence that will be used to discredit all fundamental religious doctrine. Phase 2. The planet will be subjected to a gigantic space show. 3-dimensional hologram will be part of this stage by laser projection in different parts of the world with a different image depending on the fate of each ethnic group. This new image of God will speak in all language and could also be proclaimed before the nation, imposing a single religion, a single type of currency, a single ideology, thus creating what could be called New World Order. Phase 3. The third step would consist of an electronic bidirectional telepathic communication. Waves of very low and extremely low frequency would locate human beings through their brains, making each person believe that their own God could be speaking to him from within himself. This could be created meticulously using a database that stores a huge amount of information about the culture, ideology, politics, custom, and language of each country. This technology also allowed the generation of intelligent dialogue between the sender of the message, in this case a supposed deity, and the recipient of the message, the human being. Since said telepathic communication instantly analyzes the thought of the recipient, which would make him see that he is speaking with a deity and not receiving a programmed or canned message. Phase 4. The fourth stage could consist of universal supernatural manifestation using electronic means. It would aim to convince the entire human race that they are at the gate of an alien invention in every major city on the earth. The objective of this maneuver could be to push the government to use their nuclear weapons. In addition, Christians could be made to believe that they are attending the phenomenon known in the Bible as Rapture, which consists in the ascension of good soul to the kingdom of God, remaining on earth others. The goal of such events would be to get rid of any significant opposition to the New World Order. Fifth phase, final fifth, There could be a mixture of electronic and supernatural force. The wave frequency used at that time could allow supernatural force to travel through optic fiber cable, coaxial cable, and telephone line to penetrate all electronic equipment and devices that by then could all have a special microchip installed. The objective of this step could be the materialization of ghosts, routes, portages to put the entire population to the brink of suicide. The power held by the world elite so far is falling apart. Day by day, they are losing influence in the future of events. Sage Mona is considered as a whistleblower. He released this book just 2 years before his death. The book probably cost his life. Project Bluebeam was released in 1994 and the man died the 5th or 6th of December 1996. Now I must say this. Not everything called conspiracy theory is entirely false, though some are, but also not everything the mainstream media rebels as fast is actually true. If you understand the deceit and the dark side and the manipulation of the devil, you will understand what I'm trying to say. The origin of this doctrine, let me give you a little bit highlight about this doctrine was originated.
Its origins. The Roman Catholic Church had to come up with a view of prophecy to counter the historic view of prophecy that the Reformers had used to identify the Church of Rome. The little horn of Daniel, chapter 7, the mouth of Revelation in chapter 13, and the harlot of Revelation in chapter 17. This new scheme of prophetic interpretation became known as Futurism. It was a Roman Catholic Jesuit priest named Ribera who, in the days of the Reformation, first taught that all the events in the book of Revelation were to take place literally during the 3.5 years reign of the Antichrist. Later, Emmanuel Lacunza, also a Jesuit priest, built on Ribera's teachings. He spent much of his life writing a book titled The Coming of Messiah in Glory and Majesty. Lacunza, however, wrote under the pen name of Rabbi Ben Ezra, supposedly a learned Jew who had accepted Christ as his Savior. He did this so that the unsuspecting Protestants would accept his book, for the Protestant world then wanted nothing from a Jesuit. His book was published in 1812. Now enter the name of Edward Irving. Born in Scotland in 1792, Irving discovered Lacunza's book and fell in love with it, translated it into English, and it was published in London in 1827. Then Irving began to hold Bible conferences throughout Scotland, emphasizing the coming of Jesus to rapture his church. Later, J.N. Darby was introduced to the secret rapture doctrine by the Irvinites. The Irvinites were the followers of Edward Irving. They also introduced to him the famous book by Rabbi Ben Ezra, which is, if you recall, the pen name for the Jesuit priest Emmanuel Lacunza. Darby was himself a prolific writer, and from that time a constant stream of propaganda came from his pen. His writings on biblical subjects number over 30 volumes of 600 pages each. Darby developed and organized Futurism into a system of prophetic teachings called dispensationalism. The secret rapture teaching was introduced into the United States and Canada between the 1840s and 1870s. A Congregationalist preacher by the name of C.I. Schofield came under the influence of Darby and the Plymouth Brethren. Schofield became a strong promoter of the teaching that had been promulgated by Darby, whom he considered, quote, the most profound Bible student of modern times, unquote. Schofield incorporated this teaching into his Schofield Reference Bible. 3 million copies were published in the first 50 years. Through this Bible, Schofield shrewdly carried the teaching of the secret rapture into the very heart of evangelism. Many of your modern Baptist pastors rely heavily upon Schofield. There is one final link in the chain of development and spread of the rapture theory that should be mentioned in passing. Schofield and Darby influenced D.L. Moody. Moody was influential in the early Pentecostal movement. How, you may ask? The Assemblies of God are today by far the largest Pentecostal denomination in the world. In 1914, they ordered their Sunday school and study materials from the Moody Press. So the Assemblies of God believed what the Moody Bible Institute taught, which included the secret rapture. And so it is today. Great numbers of churches have discarded the historic teaching of the church concerning prophecy and have replaced it with a concept invented merely to deceive.
To navigate to my point, I would like to talk about this man called Henry Drummond and his ties with the Rothschilds. So I read this article. Look at what it says about him. Henry Drummond of England, a banker heavily involved in politics, also High Sheriff of Surrey, which in 1826 brought together the assemble of men into his 63-chimney mansion home in Albury Park to tackle the question of the end times. Also, we are to believe, not only did this gathering partake in the early Zionist movement of the Rothschilds, this man is affiliated and is tied to the Rothschilds family. And if you understand the Rothschilds family dynasty and their level on the Illuminati pyramid, how they secretly rule this world, you will understand how dark this agenda is. But for time's sake, I will not be spending much time on that, so I will focus on the main topic. So I digress. Even the early church father does not believe in pre-tribulation rapture. See what they said. There will be tribulation such as not been seen since the beginning, neither will be. For this is the last contest of the righteous, in which they are crowned with incorruption when they overcome. So according to what he says, he doesn't even believe on the pre-tribulation rapture. And there are many of them like that. So do the Bible teach about this particular pre-tribulation rapture? The answer is no. We are appointed to tribulation, but we are not appointed to Yahuwah's wrath. This whole debate started about 1 or 2 centuries ago. That's when all this ideology began. The question about whether is it rapture or gathering, whether is it pre-tribulation or post-tribulation, with this one Bible verse, it has answered the whole question. But I will read it for you. 2 Thessalonians 2, 1-3. Now, brothers and sisters, let us clarify some things about the coming of our Adon, Yahushua, Hamashiach, and how we will be gathering to meet him. Don't be easily shaken or alarmed by those who say that the day of Yahuwah has already begun. Don't believe them. Even if they claim to have had a spiritual vision, a revelation, or a letter supposedly from us, don't be fooled by what they say. For that day will not come until there is a great rebellion against Elohim, and the man of lawlessness is revealed, the one who brings destruction. So with this one verse, it has already clarified everything you need to know about this rapture doctrine. He clearly said that it is gathering and it's not rapture. Second is that the man of lawlessness will be revealed first. The man of sin will be revealed first. So it is gathering and it's post-tribulation. And ironically, this is the same letter to the Thessalonians that people believe that the doctrine of the pre-tribulation rapture originated from. This is the same letter that he wrote to these people. So the question is, did Paul contradict himself? The answer is no. It's just that we read and we do not understand. We are the one that contradicted ourselves. But maybe only this one Bible verse has not convinced you enough to believe that this is gathering and this is post-tribulation. So I will give you more Bible verse so that I would understand more. First of all, I like using the name Bible used and not the one that was later agreed upon by the early church fathers or some people you thought that was credible enough to form such doctrine, so that I won't look stupid before the judgment seat of Messiah, or he will say, "Depart from me, I never knew you, you who practice lawlessness." So there is nothing like rapture in the Bible, but gathering is what is in the Bible. And that gathering was written both in the Old and New Testaments. This particular topic was discussed in both in Old and New Testament. It was even emphasized more in the Old Testament. What the Bible actually teaching concerning this topic we call the rapture is the resurrection, restoration, gathering, and the reception of the kingdom of Israel. If you will understand the Bible, you have to understand the mindset of people that was living at that time and what they believe, what was promised to them. You have to understand all this before you understand the Bible properly. Okay? So the expectation of the children of Israel is what is very important in this topic. So what do they expect? I will read some Bible verse. Matthew 6 verse 10, it says, "May your kingdom come soon. May your will be done on earth as it is in heaven." This is Yahushua, our Messiah, making this prayer to his Father. That may his kingdom, this is what he desires, this is what they expect. May his kingdom come, okay? May his will, so that his will can be done on earth as it is in heaven. That is his prayer. This is a very popular Bible verse. And I will read some other Bible verse so that you understand the mindset of these people. Acts of the Apostle 1 verse 6, it says, "So when the apostles were with Yahushua, they kept asking him, 'Adonai, has the time come for you to free Israel and restore our kingdom?'" So this is their mindset. Why did they have this mindset? Because the prophets in the past have been promising them this. They have been prophesying this thing to them. And they are asking him, "Is the time right for you to recover the kingdom to Israel?" Luke 24:18-21. One of them, Caiaphas, replied, "You must be the only person in Jerusalem who has not heard about all things that has happened there the past few days." What things? Yahushua asked. The things that happened to Yahushua, the man from Nazareth, they say. He was a prophet who did powerful miracles, and he was a mighty teacher in the eyes of Elohim and all the people. But our leading priests and our religious leaders handed him over to be condemned to death, and they crucified him. And we had hoped he was the Messiah who has come to rescue or redeem Israel. This all happened 3 days ago. This is their ideology. This is what they believe concerning this whole resurrection, restoration of the kingdom of Israel, gathering of the children of Israel. Because this is what their prophet have always prophesied to them. If the Balfour Declaration or the establishment of the state of modern Israel was from Yahweh, then that's the biblical rapture and the gathering. It's simple as that. Simple and short. But the problem is that it's not. Rapture is the Lord of today's Israel and not Yahweh.
The Foreign Office, November the 2nd, 1917. Dear Lord Rothschild, I have much pleasure in conveying to you, on behalf of His Majesty's government, the following declaration of sympathy with Jewish Zionist aspirations, which has been submitted to and approved by the Cabinet.
So it's possibly the most famous letter in modern Jewish history, and it begins with 3 words: Dear Lord Rothschild.
And that is why to know the real Israel is very important. To understand the real Israel, the real ancient Israel, is very crucial to understand. And that might be the topic of my next video. Many prophets from the Old Testament prophesied about the resurrection of the dead and the gathering, which the Christian called the rapture. But for time's sake, I will quote very few of them. From the Old Testament, I will read Isaiah 26 verse 19. But those who die in Yahweh will live. Their body will rise again. Those who sleep in the earth will rise up and sing of joy. For your life-giving light will fall like a dew on your people in the place of the dead. Isaiah 37, 13-20. And it says, Then you shall know that I am Yahweh, when I have opened your grave, O my people, and brought you up from your grave. I will put my spirit in you, and you shall live, and I will place you in your own land. Then you shall know that I, Yahweh, has spoken it and have performed it. Verse 15. Again, the word of Yahweh came to me, saying, As for you, son of man, take a stick for yourself, write on it, for Judah and for the children of Israel, his companion. Take another stick and write on it, for Joseph, the stick of Ephraim, and for all the house of Israel, his companion. Then join them one to another for yourself into one stick, and they will become one in your hand. And when the children of your people speak to you, saying, Will you not show us what you mean by this? Say to them, Thus says Yahweh Elohim, Surely I will take the stick of Joseph, which is in the hand of Ephraim, and the tribe of Israel, his companion. I will join them with it, the stick of Judah, and make them one stick, and they will be one in my hand. And the stick on which you write will be in your hand before their eyes. Then say to them, Thus says Yahweh Elohim, Surely I will take the children of Israel from among the nations wherever they have gone, and will gather them from every side, and will bring them into their own land. Clearly, verse 13 was talking about the resurrection of the dead. He will gather them from every side where they are scattered and bring them into their own land. And if you read around verse 24, he talked about, and he will put a king, that's David, his servant, will be their king. And whenever you hear such statements in the Bible, you will know that he's referring to his son Yahushua, that he will be the king forever. So this is clearly talking about the resurrection from the dead. Even Paul himself was talking about the gathering, like I've read from 2 Thessalonians 2 verse 1-3, when he was saying, let's clarify some things about the second coming of Yahushua and about the gathering of his people, how we will be gathering to meet him, which is our king and our Adonai, that let no one deceive you, that day will not come except they'll be falling away first, and the man of sin will be revealed, the son of perdition. He clearly said gathering together to meet Yahushua, and that's what Ezekiel was still trying to tell you. Yahweh will set up a king, which is from the root of Jesse, which is Yahushua, to be the king over them. Apostle Paul and many of them in the New Testament, all the apostles, they were talking about the same resurrection. They are talking about the same resurrection in the Old Testament, from Isaiah, from Ezekiel. There are many of them, even from Daniel. They were all talking about the resurrection from the dead. There are many of them, but for time's sake, I will not try to read all of them. They are talking about the same resurrection that the apostle was talking about in the New Testament. And this question about who are the people that will be gathering, the simple answer is the children of Israel, but with the wide branch with them, which is anybody that believes in Yahushua will be among the gathering. Isaiah 14 verse 1 said, But Yahuwah will have mercy upon the descendants of Jacob. He will choose Israel, his special people, once again. He will bring them back to settle once again in their own land. and people from different nations will come and join them there and unite with the people of Israel. People from different nations, anybody that believes in Yahushua, just the way it was in the land of Egypt, there were foreigners that came along with them when they were embarking in the wilderness journey, in the Exodus, when they were leaving the land of their bondage, Egypt. That's how it's going to happen. Any foreigner that follow them with this gathering and obey his laws and keep his status, that he will even give him a name, he will even give them a name better than that of a son. Okay, that's what he said. So it's not like there is if you obey him, which you believe in Yahushua and keep his laws, he will give you a name better than of a son. That's what he said. Therefore, behold, the days are coming, says Yahuwah, that it shall not be no more said, Yahuwah lives, who brought up the children of Israel from the land of Egypt. But Yahuwah lives, who brought up the children of Israel from the land of the north and from all the land where he has driven them. For I will bring them back in their own land, which I gave to their fathers, their ancestors. A day is coming when he will bring them back from the four corners of the earth, wherever he has scattered them, that he will bring them back to their own land. And that is what rapture is. And that is what the gathering is. Both the Old Testament and the New Testament talk about this particular thing. The second coming of our dawn is the first resurrection and gathering, which the Christian calls rapture. And it will happen after great tribulation. It will happen after tribulation. Do not be deceived. Don't let anybody to deceive you. Revelation 24:6. And I saw thrones, and they sat on them, and judgment was committed to them. Then I saw the souls of those who have been beheaded for their witness to Yahushua and for the word of Elohim, who had not worshipped the beast or his image, and has not received his mark on their forehead or on their hand. And they lived and reigned with Messiah for 1,000 years. But the rest of the dead did not live again until the 1,000 years were finished. This is the first resurrection. Blessed and holy is he that has part in the first resurrection. Over such, second death has no power. And they shall be priests of Elohim and of Messiah, and shall reign with him 1,000 years. This occasion right here is after the war of Armageddon. This is the first resurrection. There's no other resurrection apart from this one. And when does it happen? After those that refuse to take the mark on their right hand or on their forehead were killed. After that time, that's when this thing will happen. It's clearly stated it in the Bible. And they will live and reign with the Messiah for 1,000 years. And the rest of the dead does not live again till 1,000 years were over. Now there is second resurrection. And that's what Prophet Daniel was talking about. And even Yahushua talked about it. Some will rise to condemnation. But this one is talking about the immediate one. And it clearly stated that it will happen after the war of Armageddon. Only this Bible verse alone has clearly stated that it's post-tribulation, the gathering, the rapture, the restoration of Israel. All these things happen after the great tribulation. After. That is the first resurrection. There is nothing else. Only this Bible alone should have explained everything. But for some reason, I don't know, people will still want to argue or debate or try to concourse of scripture to suit their doctrine. And again, the wicked will be gathered first for destruction before the gathering of the saints will be completed. Matthew 13:30. Let both grow together until the harvest. And at the harvest time, I will tell the reapers, gather the wheat first and bind them in bundle to be burned, but gather the wheat into my barn. The sinners will be gathered first. That's the people that will be gathered and be condemned first. That's what the war of Armageddon is. After that, he will call again another crowd, which is his people, and call them to himself and take the power of this world that is being managed right now from the people and the darkness and the occult, which devil is their ruler. I will give you another Bible verse. This one Bible verse that is not very popular explain this thing in detail. I will read it to you. 2 Ezra 13:3-12 and 25-52, and it says, as I war, the wind brought with it out of the sea what looked like a man, and he was flying on the clouds. When he turned his face, everything he looked began to tremble, and he spoke. Everyone heard his voice, melted like wax in a fire. And I looked again, and I saw a crowd too large to count. There were people gathered together from all parts of the world to fight against the man who had come out of the sea. Then I watched the man cave out a high mountain and fly on top of it. I tried to see the place or the region from which the mountain was caved, but I couldn't. And then I saw that all people who had come together to make war against him were terrified, but they still prepared to fight him. When the man saw the great crowd advancing to attack him, he did not take any weapon. The only thing I saw was what looked like a stream of fire coming out from his mouth. He sent a flaming wind from his lips and a storm of sparks from his tongue. The stream of fire and the flaming wind and a great storm combined and swept out the crowd that was coming to attack him and burned them all up in a single moment. Crowds who like to count vanished, and there was nothing left but powdery ash and a smell of smoke. I was shocked when I saw what had happened. Then I saw the man come down from the mountain and call another large crowd to come to him. This was a peace-loving crowd. Verse 25. This is the meaning of the vision. The man you saw coming out of the sea represent the one whom Elohim, the Most High, has kept ready for many ages. He will free the world he created and establish the new order for those who survive. You saw the wind, fire, and storm going out of the man's mouth. And you saw without the use of spear or any weapon, he destroyed the great crowd that was advancing to attack him. This means that the time is near when Elohim Most High will begin to free the people on earth. At that time, everyone will be close to panic. They will begin to make war against one another, city against city, region against region, nation against nation, kingdom against kingdom. When that happens, the sign I told you about earlier will take place, and when I will reveal my son, whom you saw as a man coming out of the sea. When they hear his voice, all the nations will leave their territory, forget their wars with one another, and come together in one great crowd, too large to count, as you saw in the dream. The nation will unite with the single purpose of making war with my son. He will take his stand on top of Mount Zion, and the new Jerusalem will be seen by everyone. It will be completed and fully built, just as in your dream. You saw the mountain carved out, but by no human hands. Then my son will condemn the assembled nations for their God. That is what the storm meant. He will confront them with the wicked plan they have made, and also the torment they must endure. That is what the flame meant. Then he will easily destroy them by the means of the law. That is what the fire meant. You saw him gather another great crowd of peace-loving people. These are the 10 tribes of Israel, who were taken away in captivity in the time of King Ushah. King Shalmaneser of Assyria captured them and deported them to the foreign land east of Euphrates. The 10 tribes decided not to stay in that land among many Gentiles. So they moved further east to a country where no human being has ever lived before. There they hoped to keep their laws, which they failed to keep in their own country. When they had to make the difficult passage across Euphrates, Elohim Most High performed miracle for them and blocked the channel of the river until they had crossed over. Their long journey through that region, which is named Azarek, took a year and a half, and they have lived there ever since. Now in these last days, they are coming back home, and once again, Elohim Most High will block the channel of river so they may cross over. That is the meaning of the great crowd of peace-loving people you saw. But they will also have with them all of your own people who are left and who are found within the border of the Holy Land. When the time comes for my son to destroy the cloud that has gathered from every nation, he will protect his people who are left and perform many great miracles for them. Then I say, Adonai and Master, please tell me why the man come out of the sea. And he answered, no one can explore the bottom of the sea to find out what is there. In the same way, no human can see my son or those who come with him until the day that has been fixed. That is the meaning of your dream. You alone has been given this information. The same thing Apostle Paul said in Revelation about the war of Armageddon, which led to the Messiah fellowship on earth for 1,000 years. Revelation 19:11-21. Now I saw heaven open, behold, a white horse, and he that sat on it was called Faithful and True. And in righteousness he judges and makes war. His eyes were like a flame of fire, and on his head were many crowns. He had a name written that no one knew except himself. He was clothed with a robe dipped in blood, and his name is called the Word of Elohim. And the armies in heaven, clothed in fine linen, white and clean, followed him on white horses. Now out of his mouth goes a sharp sword, that with it he strike the nations, and him himself will rule them with a rod of iron. He himself tread the winepress of the fierceness and wrath of Almighty Elohim. And he has on his robe and on his thigh a name written, King of Kings and Lord of Lords. Then I saw an angel standing on the sun, and he cried out with a loud voice, saying to all the birds that fly in the midst of heaven, come and gather together for the supper of the great Elohim, that you may eat the flesh of kings, and the flesh of his captain, the flesh of mighty men, the flesh of horses and those who sat on them, and the flesh of all the people, free and slave, both small and great. And I saw the beast, the king of the earth, and their armies gathered together to make war against him who sat on the horse, and against his army. Then the beast was captured, and with him false prophets who worked signs in his presence, by which he deceived those who received the mark of the beast and those who worshipped his image. These two were cast alive in the lake of fire, burning with brimstone, and the rest were killed with the sword which proceeded from his mouth. of him who sat on the horse, and all the birds were filled with their flesh. Then I saw an angel coming down from heaven, having the key to the abyss, and holding in his hand a great chain. He seized the dragon, that ancient serpent, who is the devil or Satan, and bind him for 1,000 years. He threw him into the abyss, and locked and sealed it over him, to keep him from deceiving the nations anymore, until 1,000 years were ended. After that, he must be free for a short time. I saw thrones on which were seated those who had been given authority to judge. And I saw the souls of those who had been beheaded because of their testimony about Yahushua and because of the word of Elohim. They had not worshipped the beast and had not received the mark on their foreheads or on their hands. They came to life and reigned with Messiah for 1,000 years. The rest of the dead did not come to life until 1,000 years were ended. This is the first resurrection. Blessed and holy are those who have share in the first resurrection. The second death has no power over them. They'll be the priests of Elohim and of Messiah, and will reign with him for 1,000 years. I believe that you have seen the angle, what Bible really taught about this occasion, about this event called Rapture. This is not what is mainstream. That's why the devil have planned to deceive the whole earth. The Bible is not so hard to understand. It's very clear, plain, black and white. It's very clear. Though some parts of it are deep, that you need some revelation, you need prayers to understand. But most of it are just simple to understand if you connect the dots. If you use Bible to explain Bible, okay? Most of the ones that people claim that is deep is artificial. It's man-made because it's fake doctrine. They are trying to construct Bible verse and try to force it down your throat and ask you to believe it. Just have faith, do not doubt. But if you read it within yourself, you will see some things that are missing. But because they say you should have faith and not to doubt, you try not to question the faith and believe and just have faith. There are so many doctrines that are false that can possibly cause your salvation if you are not careful. You have to study to show yourself approved. You have to study like your life depends on it. Because of the truth, your life actually depends on it. This understanding of the concept of rapture is very important and crucial, especially in the time that we are living right now. If you have watched this video to this extent, I would like you to subscribe, like, comment, and very importantly, turn on the notification button to get notified whenever we upload a new video. Thank you and God bless you. See you next time.